channel. And yeah, we're super excited to have you here, and we can't wait to get to know you better and your organization better.
Thank you, Puja, for inviting me. I'm super excited to learn more about the STEAM Foundation and to talk more about my own organization.
That's awesome. Okay, so for the first question, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Abby Peterson. I'm a current freshman at Western Washington University in Bellingham. I am in the honors program, and I'm also part of the National Science Foundation funded Computer Science and Mathematics Scholars Program, where I plan to major in computer science with a minor in entrepreneurship and innovation. I am also the founder and CEO of Magnify Wellness, an incoming intern at Bank of America, where I will do software engineering, and I also do AI and machine learning at my school for mental health, psychology, and computer science education. I'm also super passionate about mental health, obviously, and I love learning about different cultures from around the world, and I also love to write and volunteer.
That sounds amazing. So for the second question, could you introduce Magnify Wellness to us a little bit more, please?
Yeah, for sure. So, Magnify Wellness is an international nonprofit whose mission is to ensure equal access to mental health support through outreach programs and technology. It started as a simple iOS app that I coded from the ground up in January of 2020. I got really serious about it in March of 2020 once the pandemic hit because of the repercussions it caused through isolation, the racial injustice, and the effects of you doing Zoom classes and just the anxiety and isolation that it caused. And so I really wanted an app that could help mitigate that and could not be a substitute for finding real help, but really solving the issue of the mental health stigma where it's bad to feel bad sometimes when, you know, we're literally going through a pandemic. We're literally flipping through the pages of history right now. And also a lot of people struggle with knowing where to find help. Like people acknowledge that they need help, but they don't know where to find it. And so Magnify really combines all of these issues through its app, through all of its resources, from its AI-driven chatbot where you can talk to, or a gratitude journal where you can write down your thoughts in, or even a counselor that you can talk to on the app. And so I really wanted like a resource, a place of resources and shelter where anyone of any background could come to and know that they have something for them. And so since I published it on the iOS App Store in August, it's gotten almost 1,000 downloads with regular users, and I knew that I could make this impact go farther. So I turned it into a nonprofit through being fiscally sponsored by Hack Club Bank. And since becoming a nonprofit with over 80 plus volunteers, we've impacted over 51,000 youth from around the world through our events, the app, marketing campaigns, our resource shell, and through press conferences. And so we are super excited for what 2021 will bring for Magnify.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. COVID-19 has definitely been a very stressful experience for most of us. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Could you go into a little bit more detail on what inspired you? Like, was it something in your personal life or something you saw externally? Like, I know you covered this already a little bit in the last question.
Yeah, that's a really great question. Yeah, it was actually definitely a personal experience on why I coded this app. Um, I realized that the isolation that came with the pandemic of quarantine, everything, I remember this feeling of being alone back when I moved from my safe, sheltered place in Washington to a poor area in Hawaii. And I struggled with reaching out for help because I felt that I didn't really have a solid community until I did this really cool internship there. But before that internship in Hawaii, I definitely felt alone. And I struggled with talking about it to people. And now that, you know, 2 years later in 2020, where I'm doing all this stuff, and now we're all back to, I feels like the feeling that I once had is back again. And I would never want anyone else to feel that way and also feel that they don't have the resources available. So this is why I decided to use everything that I've learned since 7th grade with coding to create a really cool mental health app that would actually help people, that would actually not cost, and that would really change the way we view and access mental health support. So in short, yes, it was from a personal experience, and the stories that I've written within Magnify's code, I'm sharing it throughout the world, and I really hope to continue to help people realize that they're not alone.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing that. The next question is, do you have any tips for those who are struggling in mental health?
Yeah, definitely. My biggest tip is to, first of all, acknowledge the way you're feeling. A lot of people like to compress their feelings and to push it away and be like, oh, I'm feeling negative, I'm a bad person. But no, it's that in reality, everyone feels this way sometimes. Like even me, I get in these funks where I feel like I don't have it all together. And like I said, in reality, we all feel that way sometimes. So number one is to acknowledge that it's okay to feel sad sometimes, but you shouldn't stay there. You should just give yourself some time, as much time as you need, to do what makes you happy and to not worry about what other people think. Like you need to focus on giving yourself space, set boundaries for yourself. Like for that could be like staying inside and watching your favorite movie. And then second of all, if you're still feeling this way after trying to acknowledge the feelings, would be to reach out to people, to like reach out to a friend, to a counselor, to your parents, anyone, just tell them how you're feeling, because if they're a genuine person, they'll never shun you away. And I know that it's scary sometimes reaching out to people, but just make sure you reach out to someone you trust. And if you do feel uncomfortable reaching out to people, you could just spend some more time reflecting on how you're feeling. And yeah, so those are my two biggest tips. They've really helped me when I've gone through hard times. And so yeah, just acknowledge that it's okay to feel sad sometimes. And yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to people that you trust.
Yes, for sure. Thank you for sharing that really helpful advice.
Thank you.
The next question is, how has Magnify Wellness benefited your community, like directly?
Yeah, definitely. So what's really cool is that the school that I go to now, Western Washington University, a lot of the faculty and students know about my app. Like on their honors website, they have it as a resource for mental health support, the app listed under there. So that's been really cool. And I've gotten feedback from students who are at Western who use my app that it's really helped them collect their thoughts in the journal, and it's also like given them a sense of like peace, knowing that there is something out there that won't be an inconvenience to get. Like I know that the process for finding someone to talk to, or anything in between, is kind of definitely a struggle. And so just having like a convenient app that doesn't cost or doesn't have ads or doesn't like have a hidden paywall is just really, really relieving to hear. And so that's mainly the biggest feedback I've gotten. And it's also helped them feel more positive, especially during these pandemic times.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Do you have any future, or do you have any tips for future leaders who are trying to start an initiative or make an impact in their community?
Yes, my biggest piece of advice is to reach out to everyone, like just network with everyone in your community, whether that's on LinkedIn, and you do have to be at least 15 to have LinkedIn, but once you do, it's a really great resource. You can also start small. Like it's like as simple as starting a club of something common that you enjoy with someone is can go a long way, or by starting an Instagram account with positive quotes on it. That's making a difference in someone's life. Like you never know who might be looking at the Instagram page that would find that like encouraging. And so don't be afraid to start small. I know that it's hard to like not compare yourself to other people who may have like lots of following or who have already like impacted tons of people. Like they had to start small some way in some way. Like every expert was once a beginner, and so it's okay to start small. Admittedly, Magnify Wellness is still growing. It's never gonna stop growing, and so it's important to have a growth mindset where you realize that like you can start small and you're just gonna never stop growing. You're never gonna stop learning, and then the right people will fall into place. And so really just start small, start in your community, start an Instagram page or start a club or get some friends together and be positive, do something positive together that you all enjoy, and it may grow into something more. You just got to keep trying, and um, the right opportunities will come into place if you are willing to put the work in.
Yeah, that's some really great advice. So, as for you and your app, what are the future plans for it? How are you planning on expanding it and spreading the message more?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of our biggest plans is to have an ambassador program where you can represent Magnify Wellness in your community through mental health events, through promoting our events, and we will give you all the materials that you need. And you'd also get really cool stickers that we are launching soon. The logo for Magnify is named Maggie, and she represents everything we do. And so you'll get really cute merchandise for that. We're also planning on releasing a version 2 of Magnify Wellness. So the homepage will be completely redone. There's going to be a really cool new feature that's going to be a private social network where family and friends can connect in a unique way. And so that's one of the big plans. Another big plan is we are going to expand our resource database of mental health support. It's called Mental Health Forever, and you can look it up on Google or anything like that, and it has a bunch of resources. And so we're planning on giving that to more schools. It's featured in my school. It'll be featured in a couple high schools in Hawaii. And so we're planning on keeping expanding that so that we can ultimately achieve our vision of having everyone know that there is resources out there, because I just know so many people, including my past self, who didn't know what resources were available. And so we're really trying to bridge that gap.
So, those were all the questions for today. Thank you so much for participating in this interview. We really appreciate, you coming up here and answering these questions to help the future leaders that we're trying to target. And I think that concludes our interview for today.
Thank you. Oh, wait, it stopped recording. Thank you, Puja, for having me. It was really great to be interviewed by you and the STEAM Foundation. It was great talking about all about Magnify Wellness and my mental health advocacy, and I'm super excited for the future.